Every sim racer knows this feeling. The day the boxes show up, your old rig suddenly feels like a relic. You tell yourself it's just gear, but deep down, it's the promise of better laps, better immersion, maybe even a little redemption. Today, it's my turn. Trak Racer TR8 Pro V2. Let's see if the new king still wears the crown. Welcome to the Simpit. I'm Shaun Cole, and today we're doing one of my absolute favorite things to do, and that is getting into a new sim rig. You know, I think about it, I spend hours of every day sitting in my rig, so it's a little bit more than just equipment, it's home base. And this one feels a little bit like a walk down memory lane. Years ago, I reviewed the original Trak Racer TR8 Pro, and I really liked it. But this is the next evolution, the TR8 Pro V2. In fact, this is the third variation of this chassis dating back to over 6 years ago. The TR8 Pro 2 is a pro-level chassis built for serious sim racers. It's very strong, it's very elegant, and it breaks away from the trend of square profile rigs with that classic round tubing design. It's got massive adjustability where it matters the most, the wheel deck, the pedals, and the seat, plus a ton of upgrade options so you can build it out exactly how you want. The base chassis runs $690 and it comes with a shifter that can be mounted on the left or right side, and it comes in either black or gray. The chassis is the chassis on its own. It doesn't come with a seat, but in this case Trak Racer sent me their GT style TR series fiberglass seat, which goes for about $419 and comes in 3 colors. That brings this setup to just under $1,200 as tested, and you can build it up from there with accessories like the keyboard tray, the monitor mount, the pedal slider, anything from about $50 to a little over $100 each. As you can see, I already have this one built, and it did go together very easily, well under that 45 minutes that they claim, so that's pretty nice. So with it all ready to go, let's hit the track and see how it actually performs. At $1,200, I expect this thing to deliver. This is not a beginner setup. This is pro-level gear, and it needs to meet those pro-level demands. And that starts with the driving position. And you can see I have a very comfortable hybrid GT formula style, and that low, fixed back seat dropped me right into the car. I had to angle it back a bit for comfort, but once I locked in, it felt fantastic. Aggressive, but natural. Up front, the chassis feels wide open. Nothing to bump your hands into, nothing in the way, just clean air and good ergonomics. The wheel deck? Strong. Trak Racer rates it up to 30 Newton meters, and yeah, it can handle it. It's noticeably sturdier than the old TR8 thanks to that new gusset bracing underneath. There is just a hint of give under maximum load, but come on, I'm running a 12 Newton meter base cranked up, and it never distracted me or broke immersion. We're talking micro movement territory here. Down at the pedals, same story, big improvement. You got a ton of adjustability and way more rigidity than the old deck. It's built for modern, high force pedals. I can still feel the tiniest bit of flex dead center if I go full gorilla on the brake. But again, that's nitpicking. The important thing is it stayed consistent and never feels soft under your foot. Now the seat, that GT style TR series seat, it just looks awesome. It's got that super sleek race car look about it. But man, the first time I sat in it, it was a wake-up call. Rigid, firm. Let's just say the seat doesn't care about your comfort. I dropped in the included pad. It helped a little, but I ended up tossing a small folded blanket behind me to make it livable. Function over fashion at that point. It's a big shell too. My thighs touch the sides, but up top, I've got some space to move. Bigger drivers will fit great. Smaller ones might feel like they're rattling around a little. Structurally though, it's bulletproof. The shell does not flex at all. If something moves, it's the seat brackets, not the seat. Now personally, I prefer a recliner on this exact chassis. It just gives me a little bit more options as a driver, but once I got this really dialed in this hybrid GT formula position, I was overall quite comfortable, even with that seat. It ends up being perfect for GT cars, open wheelers, and just about anything fast and low. We'll get deeper into the adjustments next, but the big takeaway here is that the TR8 Pro V2 feels refined. It's tougher, cleaner, and more confident than the old model. A real step forward for Trak Racer. A big part of any sim racing chassis comes down to its adjustments. I mean, getting all of the gear exactly where you want, the right distances, the right height, the right angle is oh so important to a premium chassis. And the Trak Racer TR8 Pro 2 delivers in all of these categories. Starting off with the wheel deck, the deck itself is super duper beefy. It's a thick plate, pre-drilled for just about every major wheel on the market. It's got that center mount vibe, but it's actually a deck style mount supported on both sides. Utilizing a lower hinge setup, it gives you 7 locked angle positions. You can run it flat, forward, or lean back. In addition, there are 3 different heights to mount the wheel deck. I have mine at the middle, so technically it can go a little lower, or 1 spot higher. Where the sides meet the chassis, you've got another 7 height positions, about 60 millimeters of travel up or down. I've got mine slammed to the lowest point, and you'll see why in a little bit. Those mounts connect to bearing supported sliders, giving you 130 millimeters of front to back adjustment with a quick lever lockdown to secure it in place. Add it all up, and you've got tons of flexibility, 0 play, and everything locks down solid. The pedal deck follows that same infinite adjustability theme that we saw at the wheel deck, but it's not quite as easy to make those adjustments, but it's not difficult either. Starting off with the pedal deck itself, it's got all sorts of slots and holes on it, and it's going to line up with most common pedal sets. The whole assembly mounts with 4 bolts, 2 up front and 2 in the back, which gives you about 120 millimeters of fine adjustment over a bunch of pre-drilled holes in the front and 4 slots at the back. Again, I was able to adjust it anything from flat to reclined or angled at me. That's a lot of range. The entire pedal assembly moves back and forward about 10 inches, but depending on your setup height of the pedal plate, you might have to move the plate or remove it to access those bolts. The trade-off is strength. This thing is sturdy with only the slightest flex in the middle under maximum braking. Now the seat, and in the case of this one, it dictates everything. In my previous review, I actually used the reclining seat. It's much higher, it's got much more upright and more forward, putting me closer to the wheel and pedals. In this one, in the more reclined angle, with the low seat bottom, it really had me further back. And that completely changed the geometry. The TR side mounts give you 3 rear positions and 6 up front for angle adjustment. Even with the seat sliders giving 190 millimeters of movement, I ended up having to move the rails themselves 70 millimeters forward to get the driving position just right. That also means that I have this rig adjusted as small as it can possibly go with this seat configuration. So drivers who are shorter than me or those who like to be really close to the wheel, I'm going to recommend the recliner seat for sure. Now, between all of the adjustments that this rig has, I was able to get a very good, very comfortable driving position. So with that said, let's get back in the rig and cover a few more details before we wrap this up. Now that we have it really dialed in for us, let's take a moment to really appreciate what we've got going on here. The Trak Racer TR8 Pro V2 model, fully loaded, dialed in, is a great looking rig. There's something about that curved tubular design. It's elegant, compact, and gives off this subtle purpose-built vibe. It feels less industrial than a profile rig, almost airy, like it was shaped for motion rather than built from plumbing parts. That open wheel deck, those rounded uprights, actually make this surprisingly easy to get in and out of, even considering its load formula style driving position. And once you're strapped in, there's plenty of room for your hands, feet, and everything else that matters during a long session. Now, I haven't talked about the shifter mount yet, and that's for good reason, because in this formula style position that I'm in, really using an H-pattern shifter really wouldn't be very natural. It'd be in the wrong position. It's going to be way too far forward with this setup. But I can say the mount itself is solid, with it bolting straight to the chassis in 2 different positions, and the option to swap sides entirely. It feels beefier than before, so it's like stronger too. But for me, it ended up more of a mini mouse holder, though it occasionally lost that job too. As for the driving, the TR8 Pro V2 absolutely earns that title Pro. I mean, it's the rigidity, and sure, there is a slight hint of movement, but under normal racing conditions, it feels planted and confident. It's one of those rigs you could forget about while you drive, and that is the ultimate compliment. Over longer driving sessions, I noticed how quiet and stable it was. There's very little resonance through the tubing, which means less vibration and less fatigue in the arms. The seat position being low helps center your weight, and it gives the whole chassis this grounded, immersive feel. At the end of the day, the chassis feels serious. It's not just that it's rigid, but it feels refined. I mean, it's easy to adjust, it's comfortable to live with, and genuinely fun to drive. So after a few weeks in the seat, I think I've got a pretty good handle on what the Trak Racer TR8 Pro V2 model brings to the table. So let's go ahead and break it down with the good, the not so good, and the bottom line, starting off with the good, and that being a stiffer, stronger frame over the OG and the Pro upgrade. Sliding wheel deck, smooth, useful for multi-driver setups. Tube chassis design, looks cool and race inspired. Solid pedal mount with adjustability. Easy to assemble and adjust. Better hardware quality overall. Feels premium and stable under heavy force feedback loads. Modernized look that fits well in any sim room. Comes with a shifter mount. Great for larger drivers. Good driving position. And now on to the not so good. It still does have a little bit of flex under high torque wheelbases or heavy load. Seat options vary in comfort. Seat bracket wobbles. No major innovation beyond refinement. Heavier than it looks, not easy to move once built. Shifter mount has limited adjustment. And now on to the bottom line. The Trak Racer TR8 Pro V2 is a serious step forward from the original TR8. I mean, it keeps everything that made the TR8 fantastic and made it better in various different ways. It's stronger, more adjustable, and more versatile. And it refines it with stronger mounts, a smarter wheel deck assembly, beefed up pedal plates, and a cleaner, more modern design. The curved tube chassis gives it a race-inspired look, an open, airy feel, and plenty of room for your hands, feet, and gear. The rig proves it can handle high torque steering wheels, heavy aggressive braking loads, and it can do it all comfortably with a little bit of seat modification, in this case, for hours on end. Its adjustability is excellent across the wheel, pedals, and seat, and while some flex is still noticeable under extreme loads, it never got in the way of driving enjoyment. And for those who let their friends drive their rig or they have family members who want to get in, it has a lot of adjustability and versatility without even getting the tools between the sliding rails on the wheel deck or the sliders for the seat. You can pretty much make changes really quickly. Now, the only downside that I really see that I already mentioned is the seat comfort itself, and that really depends on which seat you select from Trak Racer or bringing your own scenario. The stock GT style fiberglass seat we tested looks amazing, but isn't ideal for everyone. I also have a hunch that this is going to be a great chassis for larger drivers. As I mentioned in the formula style position, I had this thing minimized out. I couldn't really make it any smaller, which means it's really going to stretch out for your larger drivers, especially this GT fiberglass seat, which actually had a lot of back room compared to other seats. So who is the TR8 Pro 2 really made for? It's somebody who's looking for a pro level rig, but wants a certain amount of elegance, wants that race themed vibe with without just converting to something that's built on all 90 angles. You do have a little compromise. It's not quite as rigid as a profile chassis, but what it lacks there, it definitely makes up for in its overall looks. So if you enjoyed this review and you want to see more deep dives into products, unboxing or assembly videos, be sure to give this one a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can find out when our next video comes out. This is the Simpit. I'm Shaun Cole, and I'll see you on the track.